Hi everybody, you're live on a Saturday morning. It's the Cape Town 7's, and this is our day 2 betting preview. Those of you who watched the handicap on Thursday night will have seen we had a few tipsters on there. We also talked about Champions Cup rugby, but the man who was missing, he was caught up in a dinner engagement, an unplanned one, was Sean Nicholas. Well, I'm very pleased to say Sean's joining us now because the man did put his tips on the Good for the Game forum yesterday, and he was absolutely on fire. Sean, I think he went 8 for 8. What a cracking day, and that on the back of a very successful Dubai tournament.
Yeah, no, yesterday was, well, first, how's it everyone? Yeah, sorry about Thursday, couldn't make it. Yeah, yesterday was something, that you dream of, and it happens, and you just, you pinch yourself and you're waiting, and it's, when it went 4 out of 4, then I thought, wait a sec, this could go well, because just looking at the last games. And then just seeing, the last one being South Africa, how the handicap went from, I think, 51.5 to 37.5 by the time it kicked off. So you just knew that, that you're on the right side. I still covered a little bit, but, because I had a multiple with about 6 of them. But it was a great day, like a sterling day, enjoyed it. Yeah, love the 7's. Cape Town forever.
It certainly was good. And if you want to know what a guy looks like who's been watching President's Cup golf on the couch all night, then that would be me. I was sitting up watching. I must say, I didn't watch consistently, that's for sure. I was sort of on and off the whole time. But a big day of 7's. I know Oracle Rugby at the moment, Sean, is actually on his way down to the 7's. But I misunderstood him the other day. I assumed he was flying down and watching all 3 days. But turns out he's driving down for the first 2 and catching the 3rd day.
Yeah, no, I think the Cape Town day 3 is going to be a bit crazy, just for who's ever around the Oracle. if he's on fire, that could be quite festive.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the guys who have joined us in the live chat. We are on Facebook as well. I didn't get a chance to put too many notifications out. And Jordan saying, amazed that you look so fresh after winning 8 from 8. Well,
yeah. 2 days to go, Jordan. 2 days to go.
Yeah, he's got to pace himself, old Sean. Let's have a look, Sean, first and foremost at the outright betting at the moment. This was on the World Sports Betting website. Now, there hasn't been a lot of change. South Africa, who I thought were pretty impressive against Japan, not sure how much we can read into that, 9 to 10. New Zealand have shortened slightly from 28 to 10 to 26 to 10. And Fiji, 33 to 10 to 3 to 1. And you can basically get 16 to 1 and better the balance. Now, South Africa and Fiji are, of course, in the same group. But for me, there's one team there that's shouting out as a bit of value. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, I'm all over Fiji. Before this tournament starts, I said that they have to win it to get back in. The way they played against the United States with 5 men, I mean, it's incredible. They had 2 guys in the bin. They kept them scoreless. They turned it over. They scored a ridiculous try after that. Their offloading is out of this world. Like I said in the preview, they probably had the whole week to look at this, how they performed in Dubai. The first time ever in 21 years they didn't make the Cup quarterfinals. So the only way they fix that is to win in South Africa. So I think basically I wouldn't put that side on the South Africa side. I can see why they've done it, because obviously they're going to get a lot of local support for the Blitzbokke. But I would have probably done about 16 to 10 South Africa and about 24 to 10 Fiji. That's how I would have done the outright. So I think anything 3 to 1 on Fiji is cracking. Today, whatever happens today, whoever loses today basically plays New Zealand tomorrow. So that's between South Africa and Fiji. So that's basically a round of 16 clash, you could call it, because the other team probably gets Australia. So it would be better to finish first, and then miss New Zealand in the next round. So Fiji outright, I'd tip that now, 100%.
Right, well, we'll go on to the matches now. Just responding to one of the comments there, one of our international viewers asking if we can have a preview like the first day. I think the reason, Kasaka, that we won't do that now is just simply the time. I mean, I think we're probably, about an hour away from the kickoff of the first game, Sean. And like you say, even though we had a night's gap, the odds come out sometime in the middle of the night, probably early hours of the morning. There's just not enough time for that. So we'll do the video preview, and assuming you're available tomorrow, we can do something similar and go through the games if we've got prices then as well. But let's get into the action today, Sean. Interested to hear what you've got to say. I haven't shopped around at all. I'm opening the betting essentially for the first time. But the first game is Australia against Kenya. Now, Kenya did us proud yesterday. Australia, though, minus 7.5 favourites on this one.
Yeah, Kenya yesterday I think they were, like, Samoa played into their hands. They just, they also lost the plot a bit. They also had 2 guys in the bin at one stage. But, as expected, Kenya, they're probably the second best supported team in Cape Town, and they're feeding off that crowd. And I think 7.5, Australia are going to come out. They're going to come out. They want to get back into it. They, shock loss to Ireland. They need a result here. But I just think 7.5 is a bit too high. If it was 6.5, I'd say go Australia. But with 7.5, I'm more Kenya than Australia. But not massively confident. But I'm definitely, 1 to 5. If on a 1 to 5 scale, it'd be like a 2 out of 5. Racing on Kenya plus 7.5.
Right. I also fancy the Kenyans a little bit. I just fancy them for a good deep run in the tournament as well. Henrik Swart coming in there. And talking of guys that we're surprised to see up so early in the morning. Henrik Swart. I mean, he had a massive night, and he happened to share a bet slip, and I won't share all the details, but it was an overs accumulator that one of his mates took. I think it was at Sunbet, and he absolutely cleaned up. And Henrik, not surprisingly, asking Sean, what's your opinion on the points? Because yesterday was very high scoring, but are you going to continue to focus more on the handicaps?
Yeah, I'm not a points. If you're looking at it, I mean, all of them went over yesterday, 8 out of 8. So if you just blindly follow the over, I think, I don't know how the bookies have reacted. I see that it's probably about 40-42. The field's perfect, the weather's perfect, the player, they're playing an attacking game. So I think that's a good, if you're going to take it blindly, then just go over. Unless it's, tomorrow with the finals, it'll change. But today, I expect it to get loose.
All right, so that's the first game we've chatted about. I'm just going to scan down. There's quite a lot of exotic markets that out. I'm actually on World Sports Betting at the moment. I've got a lot of exotics out. The second game, Samoa up against Ireland. And here we've got Samoa minus 4.5. Ireland yesterday scoring an excellent victory. And just to bring up Emil's comments in the thing, he's saying, Sean, please rubber stamp my Scotland plus 9.5 and Ireland plus 4.5. And I think it is Samoa minus 4.5 here, Sean.
Yeah, Emil, I like the Ireland. I like that. I'm just worried about Ireland. The same, the only worry I'd have with them, firstly today, like 8 out of 8 yesterday, I'm honestly worried about just the law of averages coming to get me because, you can't, this purple patch can't continue forever. Let's hope it does. But, I'm just a bit nervous on that myself personally. With Ireland, they the same in Dubai last week. They had one game where they played superbly well. I'm just going to check which one it was. They played, just against the United States. They looked great. They almost won the game on day one. Then day two, you thought they'd give Australia a game, and they lost by 24 points. So I'm just worried about Ireland on the back of a victory. I don't know how. With Samoa needing the win more than Ireland basically does. I just don't know how. Being inexperienced, not a core side, they haven't done this forever. They don't know how to grind these out. So I'm just worried that they try to play a loose game and Samoa just, pip them and win by 7 or more. So I'm just a bit wary on that. But of the two, I would go more Ireland plus 4.5 than Scotland. I think that France are going to kill Scotland personally. I think France are going to take Scotland to the cleaners today.
Excellent. Well, I see Keelan Krill making the point. Now, he is based internationally. He was saying that there was a good handicap at 4 a.m. this morning. So Henrik might have got it when he got home. But the Ireland handicap has moved. And that's something that we discussed on Thursday night, Sean, and it's very true. In 7's handicapping, you've got to be, if you really want to take advantage, you've almost got to be there when the books open up because there can be some serious movement from the initial prices.
100%. If you look at the Argentina-Canada game yesterday, it opened at Argentina minus 4.5, which was, that was really a good value. That was golden. It moved out all the way to 12.5. Incidentally, if you took Canada at 12.5, you would have got that because they scored that last minute.
Oh.
I don't know how that was allowed. It makes no sense that was.
It was crazy. I mean, I didn't really have. I had the Argentina minus in a multiple, but Brendan Vessels, the conductor, was on Thursday night. He'd taken some plus 12.5 Canada, and I mean, the guy was he was tackled out to touch the whistle. The hoot had gone, so the game was over. He then throws the ball away. I mean, it could have been in celebration for all the ref knew. And the ref gives a penalty and Canada go up and score. I mean, if you're a punter there, you're absolutely bitter.
No, that was... I just say, you've got to play the rules. And the rules, the first thing, it went out of play. That's the first thing that happened. Then you blow the whistle for full time. If he throws it out, then you give him a warning or a yellow card for the next game, whatever. But it was out of play. So if you were on Argentina minus 12, that was one of those where it just bounces horribly wrong. But that's the only game that can happen is 7's. I mean, you can see a guy running, he can try to dot it down, and then another guy comes and puts his foot under the ball, and you lose a card that you thought was certainty. So 7's it's not over until that it's not over until that score comes on the screen. That's when the game is over for me.
That's it. He went for the middle, hit the minus 4.5 and the plus 12.5. So he's calling it one of the best referee calls of all time. And of course, yes, some of these things go in your favor. But I think we'll generally I think most people would concede that the ref got it wrong. The fact that you make money out of it is great. Good luck to you there because other people lost and you win, and that's punting at the end of the day. But yeah, I'd have to say it was a very strange decision from the referee indeed. Let's move on to the next game, Sean. It's France up against Scotland. This one kicks off around midday by the looks of things. And we've got the handicap here: France minus 9.5, Scotland plus 9.5.
Yeah, I really like France. Yeah, I looked at that French team yesterday. They've got Steven Perez back, who who is, he was one of their better players last season. They've just got a great side. They've got pace. They've got creativity. They've got power. They've got, some big guys in their team. And, with Scotland, I think Scotland punched above their weight against England. In that England game with Scotland, Dan Norton got a yellow card for a hard tackle, which was never a hard tackle. It was never a yellow card. And you could argue that Scotland got into the game because of that. And then they won the game. Credit to them for closing it out. But I think that they had that game could have been completely different. And I think that, you're benefiting now from that Scotland victory. You got to look at it and say, look, if Scotland didn't win that game, it could be a France, minus 12, minus 14. The fact that you're only getting a minus, I saw GG Gaming had minus 8.5. The 8 and the 9 is not massive in 7's. But I mean, that's one of the better ones today. I just think that France are going to, Scotland, they need one more victory. They're probably going to target their last game. They're playing against Spain. They'll target Spain to try get in the cup quarters. They know that if they let this one slip, it's not the end of the world. So I don't, and then France, obviously a different side. They know if they beat Scotland, they're into the cup quarterfinals. So just from the sides, if Scotland had Vandal and Rydell, then I'd say, let's just look more on the plus. But without those two players, Scotland are far inferior, and I think France will win by a couple.
Right, and let's move on then to England up against Spain. England minus 19.5 against the Spanish. They'll be looking to turn it on, surely.
Yeah, they've got to. Just looking at Spain, they played so flat yesterday. They're just, they're missing that Paul Pla. He's one of their best players. He's missing. I don't know why. I don't know if he's injured or I'm not sure, but he's not there this weekend, and that's a massive blow for them. He's probably one of their only creative players that they have. They had another guy with a beard last year, but I don't know where he's gone either. But England, just the way England play with their pace of Norton, I think that they'll give Spain, this could be about 25 plus. I think that this is going to be quite a high one. Just looking at the previous results, I mean, they played in Dubai. That was with the strongest Spanish side, and England won 36-7. London last year, England won 40-21, and then Hong Kong they won 54-5. So between them, they would have beat the handicap of, what is it at the moment? 18.5. They would have beat the 18.5.
Yes.
They would have beaten the 18.5 the last 4 times they played. Where they've beaten them in the last 4 games, they've beaten them by an average of 32 points. So that's also one of the better ones today, England on the minus.
Just to divert for a second, Robert Lem came in and said Kenya plus 13.5. So I asked him the question in the live comments, where did he get that? And it's evidently at Sporting Bet now at 17-20. So that seems like a massive handicap on Kenya. So I don't think that's going to last, Sean.
No, if I could go higher than 14 Rand 37 at Sporting Bet, I think I would empty out.
You won't be climbing in with that.
I reckon every single person on the thing now, just get on that right now. You can cover, by the time kickoff happens, it might go to 6.5, on Australia. So get on that. That's massive. Go big. Get on there before they close you.
Excellent. Guys, just to mention, I'll put a link right on the top of the comments to the Rugby Forum thread where guys will be posting their tips all day. And I've also put it down below in the comments box there. Let's move on then and have a look what the next game is. Sean, I skimmed up to look at the Kenya betting again to see I hadn't read it wrong when I first looked at it. So I'm going to come down. What did we just talk about? England, Spain. That takes us to Argentina against Wales. Argentina minus 17.5.
Yeah, in 7's, what you've got to do in the beginning of a tournament, you've got to look at the teams that you're going to back, that you fancy, and then the teams that are really, absolutely rubbish. So you've got to, and then you obviously oppose the rubbish teams, you back the good teams. And if you get a game where you've got your team that you fancy against a team that you think is rubbish, then you go massive. And that case in point yesterday with South Africa against Japan, it was Japan are the worst. They're an invitational side. They are atrocious. They've lost the plot basically. They're rudderless. And the same can be said for Wales. I mean, the way Wales, they scored against New Zealand in the first half and they looked like they could play, make a game of it. But then they just, silly mistakes. Trehan kicked it out on their kickoff, and then he on one of the penalties he tapped it forward and he knocked it on. So that sort of thing. You don't need that. When your most experienced player on your squad does those sort of silly mistakes. For the youngsters coming in, it can't be good. And I think Wales are one of the whipping boys this season. I think they're going to probably be relegated. So I'd fancy Argentina minus. If you can get a 16.5, I'd take that. Obviously, the 17s are better than an 18. You don't get really many 18-point victories. But, I'd be fancying Argentina on that.
Right, Argentina up against Wales. I also like Argentina. I've been very impressed with them, actually, over both tournaments now. So they also play a nice, hard, physical game here. And here we come to another big minus, Sean. And it's New Zealand minus 24.5 against Canada.
Yeah, looking at this, I mean, Canada weren't the best, but this 20, it just seems a bit high. I could be burnt on this, but I just think that this is what, I would have done this about the 20.5 zone, the 25.5, 26.5, where it is. That's a bit high. For me, it's a no bet or, a small one taking Canada on the plus. But if you back, the scary thing about backing any team against New Zealand, you've just, you're watching the last 2 minutes with one eye open all the time. Those New Zealand sevens they can score tries at will. But, I just think that the handicap's a little bit too high. I'm not going to get stuck in the minus. And if I was, I'd lean on the plus, but small.
Right. Let's go on to the next game then. And I was just actually scanning down there. So it's the USA against Japan. USA here minus 26.5. Now, Sean, am I right in saying that they would surely have to gun for some points and hope to beat the Blitzbooks later in the day?
Yeah, 100%. They've got to let. I think they've got to put Isles and Perry Baker on the field at the same time, and just spread it out wide to either of them, and just get Japan around the side. They've just Japan defensively they're atrocious. They let 49 points against the Blitzbooker. They've got nothing in attack. Japan are the worst team. I don't even know. I'm not actually sure why Zimbabwe weren't invited to this tournament instead of Japan. With it being invitational. But I think that you've got to go. With the fact that the States need points, you've got to go big on them.
Right. And then the next game, which will be the last game that we can really cover from a betting angle now, is going to be South Africa against Fiji. And I mean, this should be, Sean, an absolute cracker. And in my view, quite likely a sort of preview of the final almost. You've got South Africa minus 4.5, Fiji plus 4.5.
Yeah, if you go to so Hollywood's got Fiji plus 5.5, and right. The 4 and the 5 is a
that makes a big difference. Yes.
For me, this I'm gonna go against the. I think a lot of people just based on what they saw yesterday with the Springbok, the Blitzbok, how great they played. But Fiji just they can play against us. They just know. Jerry Tuai, best player at the moment. They've got so many weapons that I think that the 5.5, the plus 5.5 is where I'd be leaning, just on the fact that you've got an unconverted try. The 4.5, I wouldn't go Fiji so much, but the 5.5, I really fancy Fiji there. I'm going to take a little bit of them actually to win the game, but I've already got them to win the tournament. So, it's like it's double edged basically. If Fiji do beat South Africa, then they'll go to 17-10 to win the tournament tomorrow. So if you're on Fiji to win outright, then just maybe take some on the plus 5.5. If you're not, still take the plus 5.5 and maybe take a little bit on them winning. But this could go either way. But I just think that Fiji, they just play better against us than most teams, and I'm still not convinced that we play the best at Cape Town. So if I'm proved wrong, it'll be great for the whole tournament that South Africa's progressing. But I've just got a sneaky feeling that Fiji come out firing.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, some of the offloads Fiji put in yesterday, particularly that one try they scored. I think they were down to 6. They just got their one guy back, and then they scored that try. But I mean, some of it was almost ridiculous. The guy would pass the ball, it would seemingly hang in the air for a few seconds, and suddenly a Fiji guy would run on. And it's almost instinctive. You almost wonder, can you coach people to play that way? Because that's how good it is. On the other hand, I mean, the Blitzbox defense in that is so phenomenal. So it really is going to be an exciting game. But I'm with you then. I think the strategy you want to employ there is probably right. I'm not on the outrights yet, so I'll be looking to take a bit of that Fiji 3-1 now, and probably just even watch this game, see how it goes. And at the end of the day, even if Fiji had to lose the game, it certainly wouldn't be the end of the world. But if they do win, like you say, they'll probably shorten. Now we've had a request short from Henrik, who for some reason is struggling to concentrate. I have no idea why, Henrik. I don't know if you had a big night there or what, but. He just wants a little bit of a summary at the end. So perhaps sum up your thoughts on day 2 for us. And I'm assuming that you're not going to be following the Oracle and getting too involved in the women's game.
Yeah, no, just first on the women's game, you can't trust them. I remember being burnt once where it was definite try, and she did a Baden Barrett where she lost the ball. There was no one around her, and she just bobbled it up and knocked it on. And had she scored that try, I would have won the bet. So it was just since then I've been burnt with a woman. I'm not playing. I'll watch it and I'll see how it goes, but it's just not fun to play because it's a lot of errors. It's not a nice game to watch. But on the guys, okay, the first game, Kenya on the plus, plus 7.5. That's good. Ireland Samoa, I'm a little scared of that. I think a lot of people will go Ireland plus. That for me is let's just see how it goes. France minus 8.5 at GG Gaming. That's great. England minus, if you can get 16.5. I'd take that. I'd take 18.5, but 16.5 would be a lot better. Let's just see what. I see that Sunbet's already up to 19.5. So just shop around and try to get the best England minus you can. Next game, Argentina Wales. Take Argentina on the minus. New Zealand Canada. If you want, this for me, it's just too high. This is probably the no bets game of the round for me. It just seems a bit high, but New Zealand can cover it, but it's just too high for me. United States minus 26, and then Fiji plus 5.5 at Hollywood.
Excellent, Sean. Thanks very much, man.
Let's see if we can go.
Good to chat to you.
6 out of 8. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, your record has been unbelievable, and I can hear you not. I mean, yesterday you were flying into a few of those handicaps. I can hear you're a little bit more withdrawn because now the bookies have had their time to settle. And I'd have to say that the handicaps have been better set. But good to have your picks there. And hopefully we can catch up tomorrow morning as well. And what I'll do for the guys that are watching, because I see we picked up a nice live audience, given we only announced the show 10 minutes before we came on. We'll announce that on Twitter and on the Good for the Game forum tonight if we're going to do a show tomorrow morning. And we'll set the time so guys will have good time to make their plans to watch the show. Sean, thanks very much. And have a cracking day's punting there.
Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna take 2 of the best ones there, just for Henrik there. If he's missed that summary, if he lost, after the third word, if he got a bit fast out there, I'm gonna say that France minus 8.5, and the America, I see the minus 25.5 somewhere. I can't, I'd take those 2. Those are the best of the day, and then you can throw in Argentina minus and Kenya plus as the next phase, and then England. There's actually quite a bit. Same as yesterday, when I looked at the things yesterday, I didn't have a gut feel, but when you start going through it, the more and more, and you start thinking about it, then you see some that pop out a bit more. So it's going to be let's hope it's a good day. Let's hope people can make some money. We need Christmas bonus. Let's go. Excellent.
Kusaka just asking there if we can write the picks down. I'm sure we'll put them up in the Good for the Game forum. Just a quick summary on that. So no problem. You could probably look in the next 10 minutes or so. And we also have the video up there if you want to watch it again. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do go down below. Sorry,
but just quickly, I see that Jordan's asking about Hirayama with Canada. So, on that New Zealand game, if Hirayama's injured, then you can fire New Zealand all you want, But if he's playing, then that plus is a bit high. So I don't know if the bookies have priced the fact that he's not playing in. That makes a lot more sense because he didn't come off yesterday. But if he's not playing, then Canada won't have they don't have a 10, and I think that could be quite ugly for them against New Zealand. So wait until kickoff. You can go on that RB7's website. You can see about 5 minutes for the next match. You can click on the match center. You see they announce the squads. So just have a look there. If Hirayama's not there, then fire New Zealand as much as you like.
Excellent. Guys, thanks very much. Thanks to Sean. Thanks for all the guys in the live chat. It's been great having you on. We will make an announcement about a show tomorrow. Keep your eye, Kusaka, on the Good for the Game forum. There is a link down below in the comment section, also right at the top of the live comments. You can go there and see the picks as well. But thanks, guys. Enjoy the day, and may it be a cracking day's punting.